Okay, excuse me. So here we're going to talk about ecosystems, and they also add the soil chapter in here as well. There's a couple videos over there for you to watch on soil horizons, and also a very quick and easy to understand one on nutrient cycles that you should pay attention to. I'll go over it really quickly and explain those to you. So when we talk about ecosystems, we're talking about biodiversity, the number of different species in the environment, and it's important because it reflects the interaction of living organisms and non-living components of the biosphere over time. And the biosphere is basically below the ocean floor to about 8 kilometers up in the atmosphere. And if you study this, we call this biogeography, the study of the distribution of plants and animals. In the ecosystem itself, they can be very small, like a pond, for example, a city park, or can go up in scale to large forests and deserts. Um, Ecosystems are self-sustaining. It's an association of living plants and animals and their non-living physical environment, so it's important for everything to stay healthy. The abiotic components, the environmental factors, that's temperature and precipitation. And then there's the biotic components, which are the organisms themselves. So when we talk about things like energy flows and nutrient cycles, it's this interaction between the living and the non-living environment. So, here the savannas in Africa, where you have the animals and the plants, and in order for both to stay healthy, the environment, the temperature, precipitation has to stay healthy too, and then everything stays in equilibrium. And so these are just, here's your Arctic tundras, temperate grasslands, temperate marshes. But notice, these all have different components to them in terms of temperature and precipitation. And that relates then to diversity of the biotic environment there, the plants and animals that exist within each ecosystem. Now, energy flows are what we call the primary producers, the ecosystems, plants that provide food. We have the consumers, the animals that eat and provide food for other consumers, and the decomposers that consume and recycle the remains of dead ecosystems. Remember, ecosystems are open systems. This goes back to the very beginning of the semester when we talked about open systems. So there's an input, all of this, and the output, which are the dead organisms that are then decomposed. So you want everything to stay in equilibrium by keeping the environment and the ecosystem healthy. So solar energy drives all this, both the biotic and the abiotic processes. Heat and energy biomass are the outputs from the biosphere itself. So insolation comes in, affects biotic components, which provide food for the consumers. Then as the consumers die, the decomposers take over, and that releases heat energy and gases, water, minerals back into the environment. So again, it's this open system. And notice it also goes down into the ocean. So we're talking about the ocean floor up into the atmosphere. Now, the energy comes almost entirely from the sun. That promotes photosynthesis, which is powered by visible light. And what photosynthesis does, it converts CO2, water, and light into carbohydrates and oxygen. This isn't going to be on the test. This is just a formula that works there, but it's helpful to know if you're going on biology or something like that. Okay. Plants store the energy as sugar and other carbohydrates that they use at night, and then they consume those carbohydrates through respiration. And that's when they break down the carbohydrates with oxygen. So they release the CO2, water, and energy. Back into the environment. So this is how it works. So here's your visible light comes in, strikes the leaf, which absorbs all but the green. The green is reflected back. That's why we see it as green. And then that's promotes photosynthesis during the day, and at night the plant is involved in respiration, so it gives back as it absorbs the sugar, it gives back H2O, CO2, and oxygen. And we call this the whole ecosystem. The result of this is what we call net primary productivity, NPP, photosynthesis for an entire ecosystem, the amount of energy that's captured and stored by that specific ecosystem. Now, biomass is the total weight of all the organic matter in an ecosystem. So NPP, if you have more organic matter, the NPP is going to be highest, and we tend to see higher biomass in the tropics. And as it gets colder, the biomass decreases because you get colder temperatures. And this is just what it looks like happen. You're looking more from your text. So notice that the NPP is highest in the dark greens, and notice that's in the tropics, near the equator. So here's your rainforest that we talked about last chapter. Or actually, then we're going to talk about next chapter, and then the east coast of the United States, where we have forests over here in the rainforest of tropical rainforest of Indonesia, and the east coast of China, and then Europe, of course, where we have a lot of trees as well. And then as you get higher in latitude, the temperature starts to decrease, and so you have less biomass because you have fewer plants. Okay, so we'll stop there and then do the biochemical cycles in part 2. So again, watch that video on the nutrient cycles, okay, and that will help you familiarize yourself with this.